Welcome to the Future of Less Work, where we're piecing together the transformation of work one conversation at a time. I'm Nirit Cohen, and today's conversation challenges something fundamental: how we structure work itself. We've spent decades building systems around full-time roles, hierarchies, and the idea that execution belongs to employees inside the walls of the organization. But what if that model is no longer fit for purpose? My guest today is building something radically different. Krishna Vardhan Reddy is the founder and CEO of AiDOOS, a platform that's rethinking how companies get work done by orchestrating on-demand virtual teams around problems. In a world of distributed talent, cloud infrastructure, and fast-moving AI, his idea forces us to ask, what if the future of work isn't about managing people, but about managing outcomes? Krishna, welcome to the Future of Less Work.
Thank you, Nirit. Thank you. And thank you for having me here. Very excited to speaking on this topic. Very close to my heart.
Yeah, we met online, and I'm actually really excited to speak to you about the topic, but I have to ask, what does AiDOOS stand for?
It's actually a made-up word. We were searching for different words for the platform, and we wanted something to sound I do. And we knew that AI was going to define the platform and the work. So we prefixed it with AI, and that's how AiDOOS came up. And it sounded cool, sounded catchy, so we went ahead with it.
I will not forget it now. I promise you. Okay. AI, I do. Definitely. Okay. And this is very different from the standard distributed remote work, of I have a team of people out there somewhere in another country, right? You're talking about a different kind of execution engine that's built around a specific problem, right? Explain how that works. Almost sounds like work as a service, right? But for talent.
Yeah, you said it rightly. And when we started this platform, when we coined the idea and the name, we called it task as a service and project as a service. Eventually, it took a shape as, like you rightly said, work as a service, right? Uh, we have, like you rightly said, the work has been going through fundamental transformation over the last decade or more, and COVID only accelerated, and AI is actually adding pedal to it, acceleration to it, right? Uh, so we have seen the whole notion of jobs as we speak is fairly new for humanity. Not long ago, all the jobs were predominantly in army and maybe in the palace. Only with the introduction of industrial era, we started seeing the jobs that we call it as jobs. Otherwise,
So you're basically suggesting we disband jobs back into tasks that need to get done.
I'm coming to that. So by design, for millenniums, we were all entrepreneurs by nature. This whole job thing is fairly new to us. But though it is fairly new, it gave that stability and guaranteed income, and that we can plan month on month, year on year. So we are scared to think that what if the jobs are lost? Where are we headed? But what we need to realize is we have survived and we have thrived as entrepreneurs. Everybody had a profession, and to share things that he or she makes and buy things from the fellow entrepreneur, right? We are entering that era now. All of us will become micro entrepreneurs, right? With an individual or a small team wherein we provide our services. But when we have these millions of small teams or individuals, we need that orchestration layer that connects and brings that flow of work and distribute the work to these teams. That
Okay,
is the
hold on. I'm going to slow you down for a second. So,
yeah,
so I get there's two sides to this conversation, right? There's the organization side and the people
correct.
side. From
Yes,
the organizational perspective, and you're right, this hasn't been around for a lot of time, but it's been around for all of our lives because that's what we're used to. So companies think about ownership and continuity. So my employee long term, right? I define roles, I build structures, I assign people to tasks, I grow them within the organization. This idea that a company can contract for people to do the work, not
Mhm.
as individual consultants or outsourcing of, we got used to outsourcing pieces, right? Like call centers, for example, or some back office work. But the
Mhm.
core, right? The idea that I can contract for people to do the core as a team. How does that work in terms of assuring the company that they get what they need?
Yeah. So this whole notion of my employee long-term commitment, loyalty is fading right in front of our eyes. We have seen the stories of big company employees who have been asked to leave just as recent as last week, last month, in spite of them spending 20 years of their life, 25 years of their life, right? We have
Yeah.
gone past that era of loyalty. It is about
Yeah.
leverage now. Okay. How can I leverage an organization? How can it leverage the talent out there? Because an organization is interested in the uh, outcome that they are expecting to be built, right? So the way we are foreseeing is we are moving past the era of hundreds of thousands of employees organizations to smaller organizations who have an idea or set of ideas and the core team that takes decisions, be it product management team, architecture team, and the CXO team. The rest of it can be done by anybody, and that anybody should be the right person or right team, and they are expecting the outcome and they're ready to pay for that outcome. Once we arrive at this system, this process, we will stop seeing over hiring and only to let go of people later. We will
So you're
prop,
basically saying I'm going to take the core of what makes a company
yeah,
and find the execution layer
yeah,
and make it elastic,
yeah,
because the execution layer is easier to somewhat outsource,
yeah.
because it's easier to so how do you contract for, because if the execution layer is, my company depends on it, right? My quarterlies depend on it. How do you see visibility, control, impact, everything that people worry about losing control over?
Mhm. So, whatever controls we have in place in the current construct of outsourcing will continue to exist on this platform as well. All the processes, all the SOWs, contracts, NDAs will continue to exist, and they will be platform will be bounded by that to the organizations. Talent will be bound by that to the platform. That will continue to exist because we need to ensure that, right? Only then organizations will peacefully and confidently can share the work and get the work done. Now, I want to take one example, Nirit. In fact, I bumped into your article sometime back where will we see a one-person unicorns in the future, right? I will take that as an example, and then we can extrapolate that to the overall world. Okay. Let's say Nirit has an idea, okay, for a product, and let's assume she comes from non-tech background, but she has this idea. She is not interested to hire a team, a tech team, and build this. She would rather be interested to give this outsource to somebody, right? Now,
Yes.
instead of finding and talking to 50 teams, 100 teams, and spend 3 to 6 months or 1 year to just figure out who is the right team to build this, she'll go to a platform. The platform will figure out who can build this. Now, once that is built, she's happy. Okay. She's ready to release that MVP 1.0 version. Now, she needs a marketing team to market it. She needs a sales team to sell it. She needs an operations team to onboard customers, take them through the journey, and then continue to support that customers. All this can be done through the platform. Now, see, is one person, potentially this product, if it is hit well in the market, right, could turn into a unicorn. If we extrapolate this into organizations, yeah, go ahead. Sorry,
No, okay. So one is, I do remember why I was really excited when you and I first met online, because I was talking about this idea that AI will allow the individual to become powerful and create what I call the $1 billion person without a company, right? And you came in saying, I know how to, or your vision, right, with AiDOOS is to provide the platform where this individual can get the different teams and expertise units that they need, right? I'm going to put my HR hat on, right? There's a lot of um, culture involved
Mhm.
and unspoken pieces of how work gets done that are like almost like the blanks between the words, right? And the way marketing is done in one company and in another company is not the same. I think what I'm challenged with trying to understand here, because I I would love for this to work, right? Because you're going to give power to a lot of people and be able to help them grow without having to own a company and lots of people, right? But for that, you're going to have to figure out when I say marketing, what that means and how to be the marketing for my company that's different for the marketing for your company. How are you going to go about that?
Absolutely. Good question. So the limitation that we have now in our thought process is we are bound by the organization construct that we have been living with. Okay. Right. And that's why we keep thinking, is this possible? Is this viable? Right. Now, ignore the platform era, ignore all the discussion we had. If you went ahead with conventional way of building that product and you wanted to outsource a marketing company, you would have still found the right marketing agency who would fit your needs. The notion we are bringing is erasing those boundaries, right? Erasing that physical location barrier and finding the right marketing team or group of individuals from different parts of the world can still be part of a team that will fit your needs. That is the duty that platform does, and it does it on an ongoing basis every single day, identifying people with different talents and put them there so that when the matching opportunity comes, it will pool that resources, form that virtual delivery center to serve your need.
And it's different from the current platform organizations because the current platform organizations is a one-to-one conversation, right? So I contract with someone who can build my website or someone who can edit my video. And you're saying, no, I'm going to give you a team. You want to start a podcast, you have no idea what you're talking about. I'm going to give you a team that will do everything.
Exactly. And while I say exactly, I didn't mean it has gaps. The problem with the current platforms is either we have an in-house team or outsourcing, or we have freelancing platforms at best, which are purely matchmaking platforms. And the
Yeah.
reason these freelancing platforms haven't penetrated into enterprise customers and they haven't become disruptors that they should have become by now, right? Because we have been seeing freelancing platforms for 20 years now, is
Yeah.
because they're not giving the partner comfort. This is where we bringing the differentiator that we bring platform scale and partner comfort as a combined offering to the customers.
So
They will
basically they're giving me one-to-one solutions and you're giving me a a team that will partner with me the way I need to be partnered with. This is like more
and
of a
you don't
tailored
partner with the team.
solution.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. You don't partner with the team. You partner with the platform. We will establish a virtual delivery center with multiple teams for your different needs, not necessarily one team. There could be a marketing team, there could be a sales team, there could be a product team, operations team, right? It could be different
And you're
teams.
gonna give me all the what? Data indicators to know what's going on, to trust that I'm gonna
Everything.
get what I need?
Yes, absolutely. You will have a
Because
central
I'm
dashboard.
thinking, look at all those managers who want their employees back in the office so that they can see them working. And you're telling me, no, no, you're going to partner with a platform and I'm going to give you dashboard and it'll work.
So imagine the very bad analogy, but still an analogy. When COVID came, we all worked from home, right?
Yeah.
Right, and our employees sat at home, connected through the tools and mechanics that are available, and worked. It is exactly the same. It is just that they will not be your employees. They'll be platform talent. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything else will work. You will have all the power, dashboards, information, data, everything at your disposal.
Okay. So let me ask you a question from the employee standpoint. Another aspect that I think so I'm pretty sure we'll figure it out, but we're still struggling with, right? Is how to really effectively work in the
Mhm.
virtual space. So we're still I don't think, convinced that you can really form an effective, productive team, committed, without them being a team, whatever that means, meetings and other stuff. How do you do that?
So, Nirit, you may disagree with me here, but I will bring in a typical human nature here. Okay, a same individual who is part of an organization, okay, receiving a monthly pay, the way the person behaves, and when that person becomes an entrepreneur, has a small team, okay, and the way that person behaves is completely different. The moment a person has his or her own team, has a customer to serve, right, the productivity levels, ownership levels shoot up 300%, 400%. And I have seen this different in front of my eyes, because then they think this is my team, my company. The more I work and the more I deliver, the more I receive from customers, I get more customers and I grow, which is
So
different
you
from
are
an,
you compensating? Okay, so first of all, I do agree with you, and I will say that salaried employees get paid for showing up to work in the morning,
yes, yeah,
and you're talking about getting paid and compensated for outcome.
yes,
So it's basically an incentive system for outcome.
correct,
How do you compensate people for outcome if
exactly,
they're a team and not individuals?
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, good question. So the team right now, okay, is still a team that people came together for us, and we give a piece of work to them. We still haven't gone to the level of maturity where even those people come from different areas, different backgrounds. They don't know each other. We still haven't gone there, and how we distribute that. But even there, we have an answer, right? Is every work is divided or calculated in terms of AiDOOS delivery units. We call it AUs. For lack of better word, you can say story points. Okay, right? In the agile terminology, right? We have AUs, and every AU has certain effort and a dollar value. An individual who delivers certain AUs or a team that delivers certain AUs are paid for the AUs. As simple
So,
as that.
so technically speaking, if I contracted with the platform to
Yeah,
create a marketing strategy for me, you're behind the scenes,
yep,
finding the right people, forming the team, dividing the work into
yep,
units, and
yep,
basically every person knows what
yep,
they need to deliver.
yep. And you know upfront how many AUs that outcome is calculated as, and you know upfront how much you're going to pay. And platform ensures guaranteed delivery and the quality.
So I'm almost tempted to ask you, how do you know? I mean, I think of how hard it is to evaluate one's effort, how much it would take to do a lot of things. Um, how would you know?
Hmm. So this is there are a lot of tools like a typical, even if you go to agency for an IT product to be developed or a marketing strategy and run the marketing campaigns or a sales, right? There are ways to measure, and we are applying AI layer on top of it now, which uh, calculates on the fly and then shows the AUs, because we have put in decades of experience, our own experience, plus the AI estimates together to arrive at this AU model. So with the utilization of these tools, added AI layer, we are able to realistically estimate each unit of work, each project, each outcome, and then we distribute, right? So in fact, as we mature, there's a lot of hierarchical structure, a lot of meetings time that go in, a lot of status updates that go in, which will be digitized completely on the platform, and that time is saved. In fact, talent will be happy doing just real work. Customer is happy because customer is paying only for real work, not for unwanted work. Yeah, or layers. Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be really interesting to watch. Are you limiting yourself to a specific area of work right now?
We are focusing on technology work because that's where the founding team, including myself, come from, and we are comfortable with. But by design, it need not be limited to technology. It could expand to marketing, sales, scientific research, you name it. Any work that can be done by distributed teams will be done on this platform.
So, how does AI and agents enter this conversation? Because it just almost sounded to me for a second like if I can let your team do the research for me, maybe I can use agents to do the research for me and I don't need people at all.
Absolutely right. And wherever we can get the work through agents, we will involve agents. Think of our virtual delivery center as a mix of humans and agents going forward. So that what can be done by agents will be done by agents. Where we need manual intervention and people need to do, people will do. And that's the beauty.
Yeah, okay, but here's I'm pushing back on you for one more minute, okay, on this topic, because then my question to you is, again, you're trying to convince a company to outsource a portion of their work, right? If you were going to talk to individuals or small medium businesses, then I get it, because you're telling me not a tech person, I need a tech team. Frankly, not going to deal with agents in this space. I'm happy to outsource this to you. I get that portion. But if you're going after entire teams and areas of business within organizations, larger organizations, right? Then the question I have in my mind is, why, if I have a team of 10 people, I can just, fire 7, use 3 with a whole bunch of agents. I don't need to outsource this to you.
Yeah. If the organization has maturity levels that they can stitch the agents together and get the desired outcome, you're absolutely right. They may not need us. But please note that with the advancement of AI agents, thousands of AI agents coming out, the team within the organization should be up to date on which AI agent is the right AI agent among the many, right?
Yes.
That's where the expertise will come, because expertise is never limited to an organization, right? Talent
Yeah.
out is always more well versed, because that's the nature, right? I mean, there are more people who know, and the platform obviously will have more knowledge than any given organization by
Yeah.
design. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think you've got two things going for you on this in this response, right? One is you're basically saying I see across organizations, so I might have
Yeah.
the ability to gain knowledge that a
Yep.
single organization doesn't have. And you're also seeing, I mean, if you really get the distributed talent figured
Yep.
out, then
Yeah.
you're allowing to find the right person for the job, regardless of of where
Ex-
they're at, right? And you don't need to hire them. How about, in fact, you don't even need to have them work full time and long term, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
Spot on. Yes.
Very, very interesting. So let me kind of ask you, think like a couple years down the road. I used to say 5, but I don't think I can say 5 these days. And this is highly successful.
Yeah.
What does the vision look like? What is it that you are going to be able to do?
So and this is very close to my heart, Nirit. Thank you for asking this question. So I'll take a step back into human evolution, if you don't mind, right? In human evolution, Nirit, in life 1.0, okay, we were all hunter gatherers. We woke up with the sun, hunted for food, ate and slept. Very primitive life and very simple job description, if I may say so, right? And in fast forward in life 2.0, we all move near water bodies, and wherever and water bodies existed, mostly relying on agriculture, cattle, and maybe some small scale industries. And in life 3.0, we moved wherever opportunities existed. I am in Bangalore. You are probably where you are, or most of us are where we are, predominantly because of the work we are doing, right? It could still be our own hometown, but it's predominantly because of the work we are doing, the job we are doing, right? This is where industrial era came, IT era came, internet era came, right? And we believe we are at the end of life 3.0 and beginning of life 4.0. When the technology allows us to connect from anywhere, study from anywhere, right? And work from anywhere, we will be on the move. Humans will be on the move.
Or we'll just be wherever we choose to be,
Exactly.
regardless of where work
Exactly.
is.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
I could be in India for 10 years, but stay in UK only for 6 months. It's absolutely for me. Or I may just decide to stay wherever, even the farthest, remotest corner of the world, still be doing what I want to be doing and when
Yeah.
I want to be doing. Right. And when in the vision, the grand vision that we have, our platform should play central role, connecting all the knowledge-based work to all the knowledge-based workers and seamlessly flowing and take caring of their insurance, their travel, everything.
So
So,
you're basically saying, I'm going to create a talent cloud
yeah,
that allows work and people to find each other, but not as individuals, but as kind of maybe more complex than the existing
yeah,
freelance networks that we see today.
yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
interesting.
Exactly.
Wow,
And
thank you.
I'll just add one more angle.
Yes,
From an
please.
organization standpoint, they need not have so many physical centers around the globe. They can exist where they can exist, right? Let's say I have a company in Bangalore, I can have this office. Rest everything, I'll put a virtual delivery center because that VDC is staffed by talent from around the globe. I have this office and VDC. That's it.
Yeah,
Because that VDC could be as big as it needs to be.
yeah. I think the vision is definitely there. And we're seeing, right? We're seeing this idea that work is no longer a place you go to, but something you do. And it opens up a whole conversation of where people live, how they want to work, and also how they want to get measured and paid. Because you're right. I mean, we get measured for showing up today, and that's why the whole conversation is about return to office and how many days of the week you're in the office and how many hours you work, et cetera, which I think isn't going to last. But there's quite a lot to figure out because organizations are complex organisms of culture and unspoken rules um, and I think that when we went to dispersed organizations and global centers, and I worked for one of those for almost 30 years. We
Mhm.
learned that it's complicated, right? To say something in San Francisco and have it
Yeah.
executed in Europe or Bangalore or wherever. So a lot will need to be figured out. You've got a big task in front of you, but the vision's wonderful.
I'm going to dedicate my rest of my life for this and see where it ends up.
Oh, I'm definitely watching. Wonderful. So I do have one last question for you. I always wrap up with, what do you think is the question we should all be asking ourselves about the future of work?
There are two things, right? One is what kind of work will be left to us and how will that work be executed, right? So on our platform, we are figuring out the how piece, but what piece, I don't know if anyone has an answer. What will be left to us when AI does a lot of stuff? So that's one thing that I don't have an answer, and I'll be glad if somebody can answer with conviction.
Yeah, I think it's one of the big questions these days. What makes us valuable? What's the value we bring? What is deeply human contribution mean, and what goes in there? Wow. Thank you for this, Krishna, for joining me today. For more about Krishna and his work with AiDOOS, check out the links in the podcast description. Thank you for tuning in and joining us on the Future of Less Work. And remember, your best people do not work because they have to, or because you tell them to, or you measure them on it. They work because they want to, because by working for you, they're doing what's important for them in life. Till next time.